Here we go. What's up, Warriors? Welcome back to it is the QA the Warriors Way. It is Warriors Wednesday. My name is Rick. I'm with my Andrea live today.
Yeah.
Say your favorite things.
Yes.
That's the thing. And so we're going to be doing the Q&A questions. We're live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Just so you guys know, in the future, we will be moving more of the lives over to YouTube because it's a lot more forgiving and it makes it so people are able to do longer questions because we're here to serve. And so the idea here is to make it so whatever platform you like, we are going to be doing more stuff on YouTube. So you guys are able to do a 300 word questions. So it's cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What's up, Brandon? I see Mr. Gratitude already on, which we're planning on going live with you soon, bud. So I'd like to do that also. But let's go ahead and get into the questions. The questions that we're getting are from QA@warriorswaymindset.com. This is our email that people are just sending questions in. We can answer some questions for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are finding us on different podcasts. The podcast that I have, which is the Battlefield of the Mind. You guys can listen to episodes of what I've been doing with other amazing people, and you'll see the episodes of this too. With that being said, baby, you ready?
Ready for the first question?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let me get you some.
I got my new mic, so if I need to, I can take it off.
Yeah, so my baby has she has tendency to forget she has a microphone when we're recording, and so I made it so she has one where we can take it off and you can hold it.
Yeah.
You want to hold it?
Yeah, it gives me karaoke vibes though.
Yeah, you ready?
Because usually it'll sound like this, you guys. So I'll start talking
Mhm.
and then I'll get excited and then I'll just and then no one can hear me.
It's true. Less people can
So
hear.
he said, take the mic off and hold it.
It looks good, babe. You look like you're ready to karaoke.
Yeah, if only.
I feel like a part of you is holding back some Whitney Houston right now.
A little bit. I can't. Yeah, a little bit. I can't give everybody the talent.
Yeah.
show my real talents. No one wants to see that. Or maybe
Yes,
they do.
yes, they do.
All right. So let's jump into the first question. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I watched your TikTok about, we just did this TikTok. So this guy just sent this email about men really do say what they mean. He said, I had this conversation with my wife, but she thinks up things in her mind and also accuses me of meaning something different than what I say. Why? Maybe I don't need advice, but it's good to hear I'm not alone in this. And then he goes to say, actually, I do maybe need a little advice or anything else I can tell her for her to believe I actually do mean what I say.
It's a tricky thing. So I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my warriors, Jake, who's one of my warriors. We've also got videos of him. He's a police officer. He's also done like some FBI negotiating training, and he did a live training for the Warriors in the Warriors Way. And when he did that training, there was something that really stuck with me. And he said, the higher the emotions in somebody that you're doing a negotiation with, the lower the rationale is going to be. So the higher the emotions, the lower the rationale. Now, with that being said, when somebody is having a conversation and they start adding in a high emotional state to it, and what I mean by that is you start creating assumptions based on past experiences and your fears, and that went wrong, and people treated me that way, and based on a conversation or an argument we had before, you made me feel like, and we have like these defenses and these triggers that get started. And so a lot of times if these guys are going like, no, I really do want that, like, hey, what do you want for dinner? You're like, oh, you know what? I really want burgers. And you're like, so you don't like what I cooked last night? Well, no, we didn't talk about what you cooked last night. I just wanted a hamburger today. It's like, oh, okay. So then the stuff I make, on other days when it's not a cheeseburger, that's not what you just hate my cooking. We actually didn't get into a conversation about how much I like or don't like your cooking. I just wanted a cheeseburger today. I was like, oh, okay. So when we had, lasagna, you didn't say that you wanted that. Like just those kind of things where you start making stuff up or like, oh, okay. So that means this. Like, hold on. No, he just said he wants a cheeseburger. Just that's it. There wasn't more. There wasn't less. And so we've had those conversations where it'll be like, we start getting into like, it's getting real. And then you start adding things to it. Oh, okay. So I'm just a piece of shit then, huh? It's like, well, no, we didn't actually go into anything about the judgment of, what you are or not. I just said I don't agree,
Mhm.
one of those kind of things. And so what I would say is one of the biggest missing pieces when these conversations is just listen to understand. And a Jordan Peterson trick that I had is being able to write down what they say and then repeat back what they say with confirmation.
Mhm.
Okay, so what you said was this, is that right? And the person goes, correct. That is exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Now, here's the tricky part is when you're with somebody who's like, well, I know that's what I said, but what I meant was,
Mhm.
yeah, what's up, Wreck It Up Warriors? I see you.
Yeah, easier said than done,
Yeah.
especially when you're in it.
Yeah, it's a really tricky thing. It's
Yeah.
tricky for us to be able to do is recognize like, I'm really in it. And so we talk about transcending triggers in the warrior way and how to be able to find like a balance with it ourselves to be able to listen to understand without making assumptions or creating intentions or what's called a straw man argument.
Yeah.
And those straw man arguments are the ones where I create what I think you mean, and then you have to defend yourself against something I just made up for you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
talk about a nightmare. So when you have those things, if we can really take note of how much my emotions versus my rationale may be, and how much did I just make up in an assumption, or did I make up in the intentions, or did I make up the worries from my past,
Yeah.
or somebody else when they did that, they did this, and that means you're doing it too. Like maybe what they're saying is what they're saying, and try and give the benefit of the doubt that sometimes he just likes cheeseburgers.
Mhm. Yeah. Sometimes it's just that simple.
Yeah, sometimes you're just not hungry right now, and it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with your cooking. Just
Oh,
not
the
hungry.
amount of things that we add to conversations.
I'm using something that's supposed to be simple, like cooking. You hungry?
Mhm.
No. Oh, okay. So
Guess you don't like.
I guess you don't love me. Like
Yeah.
what?
Wait, what was that?
What happened?
We're laughing. Yeah,
It's a real
real
thing.
scenario.
We had
Yeah.
arguments where we're like, I honestly don't know what we're fighting about.
Yeah. I used to be really good about making stuff up. I still have to catch myself. You have to like be very aware of it.
I think all of us, when we get in our feels, do it.
Yeah.
We all do it. It's just trying to have an awareness of going like, hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is one thing. This is where we have those conversations when you do write down. My ladies are more notorious, and we do it too. We do it too. Where like I'll write down word for word what you said and read it back, and you'll go, no, what I meant was, and it's something completely different. So we have found that if you're with like, whoever's the more emotional one, sometimes it's our guys, that if they say something and you repeat it back word for word, and then they give like an errata, they change it, they
Mm-hmm.
make an amendment to
Yeah.
it, and they go, actually, let's
Or
change that. And what I mean really is, we
or
may have to cross out the first one.
yeah, or sometimes I know for me what comes up is when it's repeated back to you, I can quickly realize, oh wait, that's nonsense in itself. Never mind. Let's act like I didn't even say that because logically that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't like my own words at the moment.
Let me just have a do-over.
I'm gonna say I didn't say that, even though you
Just
wrote it down
let's just
word for
wipe that
word.
out real quick.
Which even on that one, just to give you a little segue on that, even on that, it's better to go like, all right, I did say that, but what I did mean was, instead of going, I never said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of that, like
Just owning it.
don't lie, just own it and go like, okay, I did say it, but I didn't mean it that way. What I actually did mean was this. At least acknowledge it before you make your amendment. That's all I'm
Mhm.
saying.
Yeah.
It does make it easier instead of going, no, you don't know, and then changing it. Like that just makes you lying to tell people what things are. And that's not going to be as helpful for communication.
Mhm. Yeah.
Seems simple, but we goof it up almost every
Oh,
day.
it seems so simple. It's so easy to yeah.
Next question,
Well
baby.
said.
Next question.
All right, this guy says, I'm in need of some guidance. My life has had so much change lately. I recently got a divorce. I got relocated in my job, and I hate to admit it, but feeling lonely.
Mm.
I thought I heard you have a community of men, but I want more information. What exactly is it that you do? And before you answer that question, and I overheard you say this the other day, but it really is like, I think a lot of people see us on TikTok or see us on social media and like, oh, they must be like influencers or he's just answering random questions. No, you actually do the work. So I think that's, I mean, great question from this guy because he's like, I only see you here. What else is
It's
it?
absolutely
Yeah.
fair. No, and a lot of times people go like, "Hey, I noticed the show you did. I saw you on To Be Better. Or I saw you on another podcast, or I listened to your show, and I see the people that you're with." And it just seems more like what I do is trying to create some sort of an entertainment. This is I'll be very open, very accidental.
For
Like
sure.
my intention, I didn't even have the social media setup that has been working, and so that's what's funny is it wasn't my intention to do this. I really do work deep in with like depression, PTSD, stress, anxiety, fear, doubt, anger, denial. We go through and do real work. We've been beating addiction for a lot of people, especially alcohol addiction has been, we've been really kicking its ass. There's a lot of real work that we've done. And I've done a lot of real work, especially with belief systems and identity. My first book has helped people, have the confidence to be aware of that the choices that we make, we are in control of. There's a lot of things there. The next book is going to be a lot more about how to work through the grief and work through your doubts and your fears effectively and what's
Hmm.
worked best. So we have a lot of those things happening right now. So what I really do really is in like the psychology and philosophy field, but it's gone a lot deeper than that. And we've created an entire community of men who are warriors, who are united, and we team up with each other. And we have very talented and powerful coaches and warriors who team up to look out for each other. So what I've noticed is the community itself has made it so we call ourselves like the wolf pack. We do it all the time where it's a bunch of alphas who all have our own packs that we all come together, we exchange information, help each other grow, lift each other up, and then we break. We go take care of our own families, our own businesses, and our own people. So pretty powerful stuff we really do. So we really do the real work. We go into transformation, not just the information, which is what this is. In which case, that being said, you can book a call to talk to my warriors or even myself. You'll get to most likely get to talk with Luke. Luke will show you, hey, here's what you need. I know what you're looking for. And if he's like, actually, you need to talk to Rick, he'll set up the call so that we get to talk one on one also. And I did 2 of those calls today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those happen still. So just find out like that's what I need. And those are the calls that we do. And you'll get to talk to me and I'll help you work through some stuff. Or we'll be able to find if what we do for our community is something you're looking for. And we just created a Discord channel to
Yeah.
allow people access to certain pieces of information. And we also have a Patreon that I actually just did a live training for our Patreon users, just to be able to be there and show support for the people who support us too. So we're doing things to just try and make sure we can actually be there for people and not just make content for you.
Yeah. And if I can add something really quick, we've talked about this many times before, but I think it's worth saying. But you see a lot of groups that are out there. And I think one thing that's so different about your community and your group of men is that you guys get together often
Mhm.
and you really go above and beyond at what really is out there as far as what other coaches do. You show up for these guys on Christmas, on Thanksgiving, and hang out with them just so they don't feel like they're alone. Like you're I know I say this a lot, but you are truly doing God's work, and this is your purpose and your passion. You can see that because you have such a big heart that you give to all these guys in your groups. Like it goes above and beyond what people are actually like paying for. Like you go above and beyond the attention that these guys get, daily calls, um, and 24-hour access to each other is huge. And I know that it's saving lives. So I just have to call that out because I am so proud of you. And I know I tell you this, but saying it live, I also think it is warranted because you're a fucking badass. Oops. I don't
You
think I
can.
said,
I don't know if you can
but
say fucking badass.
but you are when it comes to helping your guys, and you truly are changing lives. And I hear it all the time. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
baby.
You're welcome. Um, so maybe we can go a little rogue. I see Nicholas over here asking a question on
Nicholas
YouTube.
Holt. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nicholas, we're going to answer your question for you. He's saying, I am having a hard time controlling my anger and passion, as he calls it,
Mhm.
when getting into an argument with my wife. I try to explain myself and what I'm trying to say, but then get yelled at for over explaining. Inside, I want to just break down and cry, but that's not what comes out. My hurt becomes anger. Any advice on how to combat this?
Hmm.
He also says, oh, never mind. He was responding to
Yeah,
somebody
I
else.
see Angel on here. I
Yeah.
see some of my other people on here. So what's up, Angel? I see you, bud. Angel, he says, because Angel and he's been with us now for almost a year.
Yeah.
He says Rick and his team helped me with my anger, and it's helped a lot. He had a lot of stuff in there. But anger is one of the ones that we all have to work through, especially for guys, because he says, I want to break down and cry, but I know that's not going to work. And so it's going to come out as anger, because anger is the way us guys learn to show that we cry. Because if she's yelling at him, there's not really an understanding that's being trying to, like, he's explaining something, not trying to hear what he explains. And so it's going to be frustration. Let's just also take into account, if she's yelling, there's something that she's not feeling heard on also. You guys aren't really able to hear each other or listening. And this is where, when I work with women, the real question does go into, do you really give a shit what he's saying at all? Because if you don't, why should he do the same thing for you, is an interesting question. Because a lot of times you're watching, like, the ladies are going to be like, well, what about my feelings to be validated? And I'm like, well, did you validate a single feeling that man had? Well, why should I have to do that?
Well, he's not doing it for me. Why should I do it for them?
Yeah, right. And so
Yeah.
now we're completely justified that I get to treat you any way that I want because you didn't do it the way I wanted you to do it. It's an interesting game that we're playing in this stupid love thing we're trying to do. It's so crazy. If she's yelling and you're over explaining, both of you are in a control system. You're both fighting for control. She wants you to hear her, and you're trying to over explain so that she doesn't get triggered to start yelling. So you're trying to control the narrative by covering all of your bases. That is a protection mechanism. You are trying to control it by negotiating, by explaining too much. And this does come from you trying to figure out some system of control. If I explain more, it's less likely you'll get triggered. But then she gets triggered because you're trying not to trigger her. And so you're now just trying to understand each other through your defenses. I would really work more with you, probably simplifying things. Like, it'd be like, there's another guy we just had, who we really had to do some hard training because he would over explain. And I was like, can you do this in less than 10 words? Can you say, like, that really hurt my feelings? Can you hear me now? And like, go like, okay, now we made a request. What is the response? No, I'm not listening to you. Well, then this conversation is going to need to take a break until you're ready to listen. Otherwise, there's not a point. She said, no. Like, it's those kind of things where, if you know thyself well enough, I don't have to explain every angle. Sometimes it is better to leave a question than it is to try to assume the answers. That's an interesting thing to say. Sometimes it is better to leave a question than it is to assume an answer.
Yeah.
Just soak that shit in for like a second. Like, well, babe, do you really want to know what's going on with me? And if she's like, well, not really, well, then what are we going to over explain? What, she's not really listening. Do you actually care about what's going on with my heart right now? Or do you just want to make sure you have information to protect yourself? Well, now you're making me really think. And I don't like that. You're just trying to be, and then insert assumption, blame, shame, or judgment.
Yeah.
But if you go, let me just ask you, like, do you really want to know? A lot of times you'd probably be surprised at how many conversations don't need to become arguments because you just needed to have questions answered.
Yeah.
Now, for the anger side to it, obviously you're suppressing. That's going to be one thing. You're trying to protect everybody by over explaining. That's another system of control. And then you're not assessing which parts are not going the way you need them to not get triggered. And so usually with anger, it's either something has been taken from you or lost. It's going to be injustice or unfair, or in most cases, this one seems like unmet needs. And a lot of the outbursts that people have are generally going to be some sort of expression of an unmet need. The tricky part is we don't know which ones, and I don't know how to explain that because I don't know myself well enough to be able to say this is what I need. And in which case you both seem to need to feel heard, valued, and appreciated, but neither of you knows how to express that. So I would probably work with you on being able to go, which parts are the triggers, which parts are what you need, and can we not over explain to make sure that what you're trying to do actually has a purpose, aside from trying to force your purpose by controlling the conversation, and or her feeling like because you're trying to control the conversation, I'm going to one up you to take control of the conversation, and now it's just a power struggle, and nobody's trying to listen to understand, and there is no growth, empathy, understanding, or compassion. Probably start there.
Mhm.
That's what I would do. So happy to help you, Nick. Just book a call. Like we have the links in here to like book a call, but giving you just a few pieces to like less would be more for you.
Mhm.
And that would be a skill. And that's kind of a cool thing too. Less is more is a skill. It's not like you're born with it. And so I would take that defense system down and make it so you sound more confident by saying less things more concisely.
Do you think he added another comment, saying, "I've noticed I help others more than I." Sorry, let me back up. He said, "I've noticed helping others more than myself is easier." Do you think that has anything to do with it?
It's funny that we call it easier because it's like saying I sacrifice
So
myself
true.
so other people are better or okay. But is it easier? Because you have to compromise who you are so another person can be all right. This is fawning is the system for it. And most likely I have a whole group of like type nines, the peacemakers.
Yeah.
I have a whole group of peacemakers right now. We're sacrificing myself so that you're okay, almost like taking like her emotions are your responsibility. And what do I have to give up so that you're okay?
Mhm.
Who do I have to be to make it so you're not upset?
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things where if you're trying to be something different so they can be okay, there's a couple of things to pay attention to. The first one and the most dangerous one is if it works.
Mhm.
Like that's the scariest part is if it works. Well, then you've had to sacrifice who you authentically are for them to be okay, which means you can never be you. And that's going to lead into like a who do you really love scenario. At some point, it all falls apart. The imposter thing, they don't know who you really are. You keep trying to adjust yourself to be what you think they want. That if it works, it's a nightmare.
Mhm.
The other thing is, if it doesn't work, you just sacrificed yourself just for them to not love everything that you've ever sacrificed and ever done, which again, that feels absolutely terrifying and terrible and not good. Well, which one of those sounds like the one that'll work best for you?
Yeah.
That's a lose lose.
Yeah.
There's
Do
going to be a confidence that we'd have to give my man here.
Mhm. Do you also think too that with his comment, that he's he thinks it's easier, maybe we could just ask him, do you think it's easier because then you can focus on something else other than your own issues or stuff that you have to deal with? Is that what you just said?
I'm going to have you hold this microphone, baby.
Because you can't hear me?
Correct. I love you, but you keep just looking away from these mics.
Because I have to keep my eyes on you at all times. Is this weird?
That's much better.
Is that better?
Sounds so clear.
I can see you and I can talk in the mic. So silly.
So, Nick, we can have a call. I've got an entire group of guys right now who are also sorting this. And the last unit we just completed this last week, we had a couple guys in there who over explained, and now they're far more concise, confident, and they're leading much better. But the concept of it's easier for me, it's easier. It's actually really like more of a deflection of I don't want to work on myself. So it's easier to just try and compromise myself so other people are okay. The reality is though, bud, and this is where like you have to like take an inventory on this. How's it working?
Mhm. Yeah.
Does it seem like she's doing better? Is it more like she wishes like I wish you wouldn't try and keep doing it the easy way? No, no, there's another thing, Nicholas. You don't have to apologize for having a question. We chose your question, bud. Dude,
Mhm.
I already like you. You should book a call. You should book a call and jump in so that way we can work more on this. You're not crazy. You're just not trained. And we all have different strengths, but I know what type of warrior you are. We have a large group of them, and we can help you find your confidence, your boundaries, which is probably the hardest thing for you to hold because you want to people please. Your boundaries are going to be very tricky. We have to build your authenticity and your confidence to say, I love you, but this is a boundary of mine that I'm not going to sacrifice for you. I love you, but I'm not doing that. That's going to compromise who I am as a person, goes against my morals, values, and principles. So I have to hold my line here, but not out of malice or anger or control, but because this is my strength. My confidence is in here, and to be the best leader and the best lover that I can be, I have to hold the line. And this changes the conversations pretty dramatically. So it's just training, man. Happy to work with you on this so that we can go like, I feel pretty good about this. And it's not an attack. It's no longer going to be a defensive posture of you over explaining and people pleasing and sacrificing and her getting frustrated and yelling and screaming and getting upset, to where eventually, if I had to see how this goes, either you guys turn into a screaming match until somebody shuts down, is usually what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody cracks, and that sucks.
Yeah.
What's up, Chris Baker? Thanks for sharing, man.
You ready for another one?
Yeah, let's go for it, baby. Yeah, we'll talk to Nick soon. Look forward to
Great.
talking to you, bud. Look forward to it.
All right. Here's the next one. I feel like my wife and I have lost the connection with each other. We have teenagers and have been married for 16 years. How do we bring back the connection we once had?
It's a really tough one, especially for relationships. Relationships is a tricky game. Here's the thing. I would just start off with this thing for both sides. Do you guys want to bring back the connection? If only one of you does, it's not a fun game.
Mm-mm.
Do they also have the willingness to make sure that the connection is there again? It's a real question. You guys should both answer. Do we have the willingness? I'm
Mhm.
not being silly. Like, it sounds simple, but it's genius. Like, well, do they want it? And if they do want it, then we can actually start doing some work on being able to go like, all right, well, how do we work on this again? And then we have to go back into dating each other and fresh starts, forgiveness, grace, curiosities. We go into things where like, how do we actually do stuff? And we've got a cool network of people for relationships. What I really do though is help you build the confidence to be able to accept where they're at and have your authenticity become the new person that they date, the confident, strong, competent version of you that makes her able to fall in love with you again. That's why I work with the men with the Warriors Way. And there's also new options coming up where I'm teaming up with female coaches to give ladies a place where they can also do the work too. So you guys can do, your own growth. You're in another group, you're doing your own thing. I work with my guys and I do my thing, and we work separately on ourselves so we can come together and have more to share and more grace. Just as any of you in the field, I don't care if it's therapy, counseling, psychology, the psychiatric work, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
We know we can't coach or therapy or counsel our spouses. We've learned this. Everyone knows this. And so we have our own separate things, and then we bring it together to work on our stuff. I think that it's also very healthy for both parties to have their own separate things so they can almost redate again because they've messed up their priorities and they've lost that love and feeling.
Mhm.
Whoa, that love and feeling.
Do you want my mic?
Get it, baby.
No, do you want it?
No, I've got my own.
Okay. Didn't know if you wanted to do karaoke real quick. Okay.
So we'd help them. I'd help you work on you so you guys can have a stronger team. But I work with the pack leader. So if you want more tools for that, we help our guys get stronger so that way the team is stronger. And I'd give her places too. We have connections so we can have like she has her spots too. But you have to answer. Do you want it? Does she want it too? Because if it's just one of you trying to do it, good luck. It's probably not going to work. You both have to want it.
Yeah. All right, ready for the last one?
Yeah, baby.
All right. Was listening to your podcast, Battlefield of the Mind. He didn't say that, but I'm going to give you a plug. Okay. And want to know if you help veterans.
Mhm.
I just got out of the Army and having a difficult time. I've turned to drinking here and there, but I'm also having a tough time transitioning back into society.
It's a legit issue. We have a lot of veterans, and even one of our head coaches, Ryan, was I think he's 17-year veteran. We got Donald Dunn actually just finished boot camp with us and went through his stuff. We have a lot of good veterans that are in with us. We have all types. We got Greg. We got everything from Army. We got Marines. We've got Navy. We've got you name it. We have all of them in there, and it's pretty amazing to see how tough it is to transition from like kill mode into back into society. And there's not a lot of success that they've had for like after you're out,
Mhm.
and so there's a lot of things that there's arguments with the VA, and there's the system itself doesn't seem like it's really working on the mental health aspect as much as just treating the symptoms. And so, yes, we do work with our veterans. We have beaten PTSD, we have beaten depression, we have beaten suicide, we have beaten like the hardest parts of reactivating, we have beaten switching only from anger and kill mode into being a healthy warrior again by not removing being dangerous, but by being able to control your protector system instead of going into that aggressor system. And so we do have ways that work. And so yeah, I do encourage our veterans to reach out. We have had, even the last group had two vets who were really struggling with like that just anger that's in there, that's built in for being able to stay in a protection and or kill mode. But it has to be a choice and not just a default.
Mhm.
And that's where, the warrior in the garden instead of a gardener in a war concept. We want our warriors to be able to keep their sword sheathed until needed, not just run around swinging. And there's a lot of collateral damage. So, yes, veterans should be booking a call, and let's see if where you're at, because I see Tyler on here. He's one of our Marines. We see some of our guys in here who like definitely are military. And so
Mhm.
we do not shy away from alcoholism. We do not shy away from rage. We do not shy away from PTSD. And then we also have good networks of people that we are plugged into. Jason Steiner and other people from, we had Hero Stock. Donald Dunn is doing a lot of things to help veterans and give opportunities after they're out. There's a lot of really cool veteran opportunities we have.
Yeah.
Dan Jarvis from 22 0. There's a lot of really amazing network that we have that we also plug in to make sure our veterans have a fighting chance and don't have to fight alone.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, so that's some good stuff. All right.
That's it. That's it for this week.
We did it, baby.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to post this up. This will be on Battlefield of the Mind. So we will post this up. This will also be live on YouTube. We're going to do this every single week. This is QA the Warriors Way. So you can go to QA at warriorswaymindset.com, put in your emails, and we can read your emails live. And so that's the idea here, is how do we serve you? That's the idea that we're trying to do, just to help more people out. And for those of you who are like, dude, I got to talk to you, or I loved you on the show, or I want to be able to have more interaction with you, book a call. You'll get to meet Luke. Luke is our front end warrior. He's also gone through the program. He's very, very competent and capable. He will make sure you're taken and sent to the right place. We also have a community that we're building right now to make it so guys have access to just the other warriors and have a support system where you don't have to go it alone. So it's amazing how much isolation really screws up our guys. We're meant to work together. Remember, for all of you who think I'm a Sigma and a lone wolf, like, lone wolves go hungry and the pack always eats. So book a call and come hang out with other alphas, learn a whole bunch from each other, and then break off and be the best pack leader that you can possibly be for your family, for your kids, for your spouse, and make it so that you start living a life of fulfillment, life of purpose, and a life of belonging, because together we're stronger. All right, warriors. Go crush your day, okay? You want to sing a song while I shut everything down, baby?
Nope. That's it. Have a good night.
You want to sing Whitney Houston?
No.
Celine Dion?
Mm-mm.
No?
No. For next time.
All right.
Next time I'll do it.
All right, we're shutting it down. We'll see you guys later. Date night.